Good morning. I'm Janie Parrish with the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce, and we're zooming into business. And today we're zooming right down the street from the chamber office to the law firm of Palecek. I got to make sure I get this all right. Palecek, McIlvaine, Hoffmann, and Morse, L.P.A. How'd I do?
Wonderful. Brownie points for you today.
Okay, and we're speaking with one of the attorneys, one of the partners, Linda Hoffmann. So hello, Linda, good morning.
Good morning, Janie. Good to see you.
You too. Well, we got lots to talk about for your law firm. So first of all, are you a partner with the law firm?
I am. I'm the managing partner. Happy to have been affiliated with the firm for nearly 35 years now.
Wow, I hope you got a gold watch out of that.
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay, good. So tell us about, I'm going to say it again, Palecek, McIlvaine, Hoffmann, and Morse.
Wonderful. You've got it. Well, we are Wadsworth's premier law firm for both individuals and businesses, and we've been offering legal services to the greater Wadsworth community since the early 1970s. We have collectively over 100 years of legal experience with the attorneys on the firm, and we represent folks in Wadsworth, Rittman, Medina, Wayne, and Summit counties. So it's nice to have attorneys right here in your hometown. You don't have to drive to Cleveland or Akron to get your legal work done. You've got people that are in the communities where you play and pray that are your neighbors willing to help you with your legal issues.
So I was going to ask you what's unique about your law firm, but you've answered some of it, but is there anything else you want to throw in there?
Well, I would say one of the things that's unique about us is, law firms are not that different than medical offices in that we deal with people with some of the most sensitive and private matters of their lives, whether it's
True.
individually or operating a business. And it's important for our clients to know, whether they're businesses or individuals, that we take very seriously our attorney-client confidentiality commitment, and know that when you bring your business here, it doesn't leave these four walls. And often when I'm out in the community and I see a client, I tell them, I won't acknowledge you unless you want to acknowledge me, because you may not want someone to know how it is that you know that attorney. If it's a matter that is of a personal nature and maybe not so positive,
Mhm.
you want to keep that private. So we're just really pleased to be able to do that, and to do that in a wonderfully historic building here, just a couple blocks off the square.
We receive calls at the chamber office, and people will ask us about attorneys. And we always give them, of course, the attorneys that are our chamber members. But that's one of the questions we get most often is, oh, I don't know if I really want to go to an attorney in Wadsworth. And we know your reputation, and we always explain that it's kind of like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and what happens at your practice stays at your practice.
Right, and that's true. The attorneys have that commitment to the confidence, as does our staff. And, we find right now we're fielding a lot of calls from people with the pandemic. They're looking to update their estate planning. Maybe they're needing to take care of a family member that's ill, and they're realizing they don't have the powers of attorney in place. They don't have an estate plan in place, or the one they have is outdated. So we're happy to do that. And what better place than to have your friends and neighbors who know you and know your business to help you through that. Especially a lot of what I'll say are the mom and pop businesses who often are dealing with other family members, and they may have talked about a general plan around the kitchen table or at holiday times. But when one of the top two people in that business becomes ill, suffers some other tragedy, and isn't able to operate the business, don't you want someone that has a shared vested interest in your success here in town to help you with that, to make sure you've got a smooth transition plan? And we can help them, again, whether it's somebody doing work for their own estate planning, that of a family member, or they have a business, they're a mom and pop, or they're an LLC. Maybe they're a landlord. They have some rental properties here that they're having issues with. And then we also represent some larger businesses where we can help them with employee issues, personnel manuals, things like that. And I think having and knowing your friends and neighbors in the business community is an asset. We share wanting you to be successful.
Because when we have people that come to the chamber and are interested in starting a business, we always tell them that's one of the 3 people that you need to have is a good attorney. And so, and we often recommend, we can't, you know, like be favoritism, you know, kind of thing, but it's still, we know your reputation. And so that's awesome.
Sure. And a lot of times people almost, when they come in, it's almost a badge of honor. They'll say, well, you know, I've never had to see an attorney before. And sometimes that's good, but when you are making important decisions on things like buying a home, starting a family, starting a business, taking care of things for an elderly family member, those are important things. It's a lot easier to pay that attorney up front for the advice than to come in after the fact with a signed contract or finding that you got yourself in a situation that you say, oh, I know I probably should have brought this into you before, but can you do anything to help me now? Sometimes we can, but it takes a little longer and it's a little bit harder to do.
Sure. So why do you love what you do? Because 35 years, that's awesome. So why do you love what you do, Linda?
I think attorneys by nature are problem solvers, and I'm a problem solver. I like to help people with whatever issue it is that they bring, and I think the other attorneys in the office share that same passion. And we're not cookie cutter. It's not a one size fits all. We start with, what is your goal? What is it that you want to have happen? And we'll walk you through a series of options and steps to get from where you are to where you want to be. You know, years ago, for example, in the estate planning world, there were seminars all the time telling people, get living trusts, do living trusts. And for some people, that was what they needed. But we also saw folks that spent $2,000 or $3,000 for living trusts, and they didn't really have a legal reason to have them. They didn't have a tax issue. They didn't have a family privacy issue, and they had very few assets. But, you know, sometimes it is appropriate, and we just ask, what is it that you want to accomplish? And then how can we help you get there?
There you go. Now, how can people find you?
Very easy to find us. If you are in the Wadsworth area, as I said earlier, we're just 2 blocks south of the square. We're at 273 Main Street, right at the corner of Pine. Now, due to the pandemic, we're limiting our in-person visits, but we are doing video appointments, telephone appointments with folks. They can call us at 330-334-1536. And they can check us out online. We've got a great website featuring all of our attorneys and a little bit about our services. And that's at www.pmhmlaw.com. And we're open, like most businesses, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and other times by appointment.
Okay, so before we go, I want to know, what was the building that you're in? What was its original purpose?
It was the corporate offices for the Ohio Injector Company. And it also served part-time as the home for Convalve, which was a company that made huge valves that went into submarines and supply lines like the Alaska Pipeline. And for a short time, it was the temporary home for the Wadsworth City offices when the new City Hall and Courthouse area was being constructed. So it's got a very interesting history. It was vacant for several years before we had the opportunity to purchase it and make it the new home of our firm. And it was a great thing to be able to come back to the south side of Wadsworth.
And now you've got some great things going on in the south side of Wadsworth as well. Yeah, you've got the new water main grill, the Wadsworth Tavern is a fun place to go. And now there's a new junk store down there, which is for overstocks. So great things are happening in this.
Absolutely.
of Wadsworth. So, well, Linda Hoffmann, thank you so much for talking with us today. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, and I love your passion for what you do.
Thank you. And when the pandemic's over, if folks are in the area and they just want a tour of a really neat historic building, stop in and we'd be happy to take them around.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Janie Parrish with the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce. And this morning, you're tuning in to a little Zoom into business, and we're zooming right down to the WCTV studio with our girlfriend, Joanna Perino. So good morning, Miss Joanna.
Good morning, Janie. Always lovely to see your face.
You're so cute. So before we get going, I want to know, how many years have you been with WCTV?
It will be 29 years in June. June 1st, actually. I started June 1st, 1992. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
It has flown. It has just flown, and it has been such a wonderful career. I'm so blessed to be here all these years. Really
Oh
a
my
fun
gosh.
job.
Yeah, 29 years. So I hope they have a gold watch getting ready for you.
I'm sure that's coming.
I'm sure that is. So tell us about WCTV, because something tells me you know it inside and out.
I hope so. I should, right? So WCTV is a PEG access television studio that's owned and operated by the City of Wadsworth. So we're a city department, just like the electric department, the streets, the parks. We are a city department. So we operate the channels, the local access channels. So if you have CityLink cable, you would get our channels on 15, 16, 17, and 18. If you have Spectrum cable, you would get our channels on 1023, 1024, and 1025. So what PEG access means is public, educational, and government. So we operate 3 channels. The public access channel is open to anyone that lives in the city of Wadsworth or businesses that want to come in and produce their own television show. And that's what I do. If they come to us with an idea, one of the many things I do, they come to us with an idea, I help them facilitate that idea and turn it into a television program. As you know, Janie, we've done that many times with the chamber. You've had many different series of programs. So we just kind of help you facilitate that through the use of our studio, our remote equipment, our editing systems, and that is all free to the community. The educational access channel, obviously, just what it says, it's the channel that all the school programming is on. So the school board meetings, all of the high school sports that we produce, those all go on channel, the educational access channel. And then the government access channel, again, just what it says, any government related programming. So we produce all the city meetings, even some things that are county level, like maybe the county auditor, the treasurer will do some shows. So anything government related goes on that channel. And, you know, a lot of people are watching the city meetings now. They're all being done via Zoom for the past year. So that's our government access channel. And then if you have CityLink cable, you actually get an extra channel, which is our community bulletin board. So that's where all the public service announcements, community announcements, the chamber announcements, Main Street Wadsworth, those run on that channel along with sports, weather, stocks, just an information channel. So that's what we are. Then we also, yeah, and then all of that is also available online, on demand. So all of our programming is available on what's called watchwctv.com that you see behind me. So you can watch all of our programming on demand anytime you want, anytime, anywhere.
So if you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can say, hey, I'm really missing seeing Janie Parrish. I'm going to watch a Wadsworth Chamber show.
Absolutely. You just go to watchwctv.com. There's a series of many folders of all the titles of all of our programs, or you can just type in the search bar what you're looking for and it'll pop up. You can watch it on your phone, your iPad, your computer, any mobile device.
Oh. So all of this is amazing to me, but tell me, what is so unique about this community television station?
So one of the things that makes us unique is that we are municipally owned and operated. There's probably around 1,600 public access, PEG access centers in the United States. but only a handful of them are actually owned by a municipality. Most of them are just nonprofit organizations. So we feel very lucky that we are, you know, part of the city. And another thing that makes us different is the amount of programming we produce. Our community has really embraced us. And when I first started 29 years ago, my job was to go out and get people, do outreach, and get people to use the studio, to produce programs, to exercise their First Amendment right of freedom of speech. That's what public access is all about. So we want to give them a place for their voice. And that's what my job was when I first came in. And so I did outreach to, you know, not only the public, but all the nonprofit organizations, because they can utilize us as another avenue to get their word out. So we produce about, like last year, we did about 1,700 shows, even with coronavirus and our studio being shut down for several months.
I am
So that's about
amazed.
That's a lot. That's
Yes.
a lot. So that's about 150 shows a month. So I'm in contact with many other access centers in Ohio and in the country. I served on the board for the Alliance for Community Media, which is a national organization, for many years. And so I kind of, just kind of curious about what other communities are doing. And honestly, the most I found in our area of access centers, they're producing maybe 15 to 20 programs a month. And we're producing 140 to 150 shows a month.
Very nice.
Now, that's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah. So tell us, why do you love what you do? Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Joanna. I interrupted.
I was going to say, not every. That's okay. It's hard with Zoom because it's kind of a delay, but not every one of them are produced in a studio. Some of them are produced remotely, or some of them are like what you're doing right now, producing Zoom, doing Zoom, and then you send us the file that we can air them. So
there you go. So tell us, after 29 years, why do you still love what you do?
I just love what I do because it's different every day. I never come in and do the same thing every day. I'm looking forward to when we can get back to doing our studio productions, because that's what makes it fun. The people coming in and out and, doing different programs every day. I also just love our staff. We are so fortunate to work with the people we do. Of course, everybody knows John Manning retired in September. We miss him, but I know he's enjoying retirement. And I am on a mission to get him back to at least volunteer in some sort in the future. John Bernard, everyone knows, does such an excellent job with our sports productions, and then he handles all our programming and traffic, keeping us all on the air, and just does a great job and just handles all our technical things. And then, of course, I don't know, do you know Drew Bixler, Janie?
I might have heard of him.
I think everyone knows Drew Bixler. Does also an excellent job on our sports, handles all our public meetings, which has been a challenge this year with them being on Zoom. And then now we're doing a hybrid of Zoom and in person. So that's, has some challenges, and he's done a great job bringing that his technical knowledge to make all that work. And then we have two part-timers that everyone may not know yet, but hopefully once we get back to some normal in-person things, people will get to know them a little more. Nick Balaj and Jared Evangelist. They've done a great job with sports this year. We've been able to bring all of our sports, since football, basketball, wrestling, and now new this year, gymnastics. We've been able to bring everything live to our community because, not everyone can attend. So that has been a really good thing that we've been able to do this year. So great staff. I couldn't ask for any better. So I'm just thankful to work with all of them.
Oh, so one last question to ask is, how can people find you?
So we're physically located at the Wadsworth Community Center. So we're located at 619 School Drive. We're right around the corner, the west side of the building, right around from the YMCA, and next door to the Suprema Senior Center. Our website is wctv.wadsworthcity.com. And of course, you can find us on watchwctv.com. That's where you can find all of our programming and social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then of course you can give us a good old fashioned phone call, which I'm always loving to hear people's voices since it's kind of lonely here in the studio now without everyone coming in and out. But phone number 330-336-7919.
Oh, Joanna, thank you for educating us all about WCTV. It's good to hear it again periodically, just because you can't believe that you do so much, you know, and that the city keeps you guys going, because boy, that's wonderful. Yeah. I think we're one of the very few
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that I've heard about a community television.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that. So, and we appreciate you, Joanna. You do so much for the community, including being a fabulous member of the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and the fundraising person for the Wadsworth Chamber. So thank you so much, Joanna.
My pleasure. Have a good day.
Let me turn my email off.
Good morning. I'm Janie Parrish. I'm from the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce, and you're zooming in to Zoom into Business. And today we are visiting with Jenny Young, who owns and created She Did It Videography. So good morning, Miss Jenny.
Hi, Janie. I miss you.
Oh gosh, I miss you too. And Jet, your son. Hold your cup up, please.
Oh, okay.
And there's Jet. He's in kindergarten today, but there he is having coffee with mom.
Yep.
Okay, so Jenny, tell us about She Did It Videography.
Okay, well, She Did It Videography started out filming events, and that's not happening right now. So She Did It Videography has pivoted away from events. Hopefully we get back to that this year. I've told my story so many times, but you guys know that I support small businesses and nonprofits in the area, Medina County, Summit County. I'll really go anywhere that you need me to go. So this year we pivoted a little bit, and I just want everybody not to be afraid and think that because we can't be together or that we can't make video happen. So we can still have event videos. You may have seen some of the ones that I've done over Zoom. We just did one with the Wadsworth Older Adult Foundation. So this year we got really creative. I actually started collaborating with someone who is a story writer, script writer for me. So if you go over to my website, you're going to see things that don't at all look like humans. They look like characters and creatures and all kinds of fun stuff. So
very nice. Hey, so what's so unique about She Did It Videography?
I think the main thing is the collaboration that I try to do, not just with the community, not just with small businesses, but with other videographers, with people that fall in the sphere of what it takes to make a business visible, creative, marketed, all those things. I really do not look at anybody as a competitor. I really don't. I totally understand I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You may want something that's a little bit more pristine and might look like a big production that you would put on TV. So when someone comes to me and they want a video, but maybe I'm not right for them, and it happens all the time, I want to make sure that I have a bunch of friends in my pocket who I can pull out and say, hey, maybe I'm not right for you, or that's not the price point, or you don't like what I said, but call so-and-so, or call so-and-so. Or, you know, if I start seeing inconsistencies even in something like social media, I'll say, you know, I got this girl. Why don't you give her a call? So I think that's really what I try to do, is try to change that narrative from, you know, like enemies or fighting over clients into friendship. And at the end of the day, let's just give people good stuff, good content.
I love that. So Jenny, tell us, why do you love what you do?
So recently someone told me that when I have ideas, it's like a ping pong gets shot off in my head, right? And I'm like, oh, and I've told you, I tell everybody, here's a free idea, take it. I don't have any more capacity in my head anymore. So, you know, I just had, when I was working for somebody else, when I was working for the man, I had lots of ideas and they just kind of got swept under the rug, and totally understandable, right? It's your business. There's only so much you can do. But in this instance, it's my business. So if I have an idea, or if I want to donate a video or offer someone something, or, you know, provide screen grabs from my video because the shots are just so cool and I'm not going to charge you for it, just take it. You just need to have it. What am I going to do with it? The ability to just do that and not have to ask for permission and to give back, because it comes back to you, and that keeps happening to me. And that's honestly, from the bottom of my heart, is what happened to She Did It. Is I just, you know, gave to the community and didn't really put a limit or a price tag on anything. I'm still able to live and have a house over my head. But I don't have that guilt of, you couldn't afford that, so I had to turn you away, or I'm charging you for those photos just because I have to. And I get it, and that's some people's business model, but it just makes my heart happy to be able to say, hey, I sit on the board of the Wadsworth Older Adult Foundation. It's been a while since we've done a video. I'm bored, or I have the day. Let's do one. So
that is awesome. So how can people find you, Jenny?
So you can find me obviously all over social media, hopefully. But I like to explain to everybody that if you want to know a little bit more about the She Did It journey, I call my Instagram my journal. You can really figure out how I'm feeling that day, if I'm tired or I need a lot of coffee, or if Jet's doing something cute. And I tend to keep all my informational small business stories and the needs of the community on my Facebook page. And then you can also find me on Vimeo, or I have, you know, my website, shediditvideo.com, where I host the most current video projects going on. So if you want to see the scope, or you have a specific need or video that you want to see, ask me, and I keep it on Vimeo. I keep everything I do there.
That is just awesome. Just awesome. But before we sign off, I want you to tell us, how did you come up with that name, She Did It Videography?
So I was training for the Akron Marathon many moons ago when my body let me do that. I was about 9 miles away from my house somewhere in Wadsworth. I still don't even know what road. I was lost. And I was kind of agitated. You know, I had just, you know, been released from my job, and I was having trouble getting people to understand the scope of everything I did at my last job. I wore all the hats. It's really rare for a videographer to be the producer and the interviewer and all of that. So in that frustration, I was on a run. We're getting down to the wire, getting ready to run those crazy miles at the marathon. And it just popped into my head that, you know, maybe I could do this on my own. And the frustration I came up with, well, if they see my videos, they're going to have to say that she did it. And then I just was like, oh, yeah, who did it? She did. I stopped in my tracks, called my husband, said, I don't know where I'm at, so when we're done, you'll have to help me get home. But I came up with a name and we're going to start a business. And he goes, okay, sure, no problem. And then I was like, well, how do I get home? I'm over by these train tracks. And
oh, Jenny, you are a breath of fresh air every time I see you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you've done so many videos for the Wadsworth Chamber, and everyone is stellar. So thank you. Yeah.
You're very welcome. And I just want to say special thank you to you. You are one of the stories I tell everyone when they ask me, how did you get started? How did She Did It become so popular in such a short amount of time? And the very first person I always say, and my example is Janie. I walked in a room and she greeted me. She didn't even know me. She just introduced me to everybody like we were best friends, and everyone trusts you so much that they then looked at me and they trusted me. So you are,
thank you, Jenny.
You. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, you just have a great day and keep up that creativity.
You too, girlfriend. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.